What's up, basketball fans? Welcome to the Rats Report. It's time to talk about the Toronto Raptors, and it seems like a team from the Eastern Conference is keeping their eyes on Pascal Siakam. So for today's video, I'm going to be discussing certain players I would like in return if the Raptors were to consider this team as trading partners in the future. So if you're ready to watch, make sure to hit the subscribe button. If you want to hit the like button, that'd be very much appreciated. So with that being said, let's get into today's video. Now, as you guys know, I do like to give out shout outs on my channel, and the shout out for today's video goes out to High Flyer Hoops. So High Flyer Hoops, thank you so much for supporting this channel through your likes and comments. It is very much appreciated. Now, let's talk about the team that reportedly has their eyes on Pascal Siakam. And this is a team no other than one that was interested during the summertime, and that is the Atlanta Hawks. As NBA Central was reporting, the Atlanta Hawks are monitoring Pascal Siakam, according to Mike A. Scawato. Now, like I said, I'm going to take a look at three players that I'd like in return from the Atlanta Hawks for Pascal Siakam. Again, this trade is going to be very hard considering the Raptors were asking for more than what the Atlanta Hawks were offering. So let's go to a list of players. I'm going to start with the first one here, and this is Jalen Johnson. Now, why Jalen Johnson? You're probably thinking the last thing the Raptors need is another defensive forward. They already have way too many of this, as this roster already has Scotty Barnes, OG Anunoby, Precious Achiuwa as well, and Christian Coloco's a center, but he's a very mobile forward if you want to label him as that, right? But obviously the Raptors do have a lot of these. Now you're questioning, why would the Raptors want this? Well, Jalen Johnson is a player. Although he's listed at 6'9", he's very different from quite a few 6'9" guys. And I'm going to compare him to John Collins, who's also listed at 6'9". But when you take a look at the makeup of these two players and how they're able to defend, John Collins, for the most part, was not able to defend shooting guards or small forwards in the NBA. Jalen Johnson is a little bit more mobile. He's able to be a really good defensive player for you. And I know people are concerned about his offense, so we'll get to that in just a moment. But Jalen Johnson is a spectacular defender. He gives you so much. I know the Raptors have a lot of defenders, and I know that's probably not what a lot of fans want to hear from the Raptors' point of view anyways, is that you want more defenders on this team. But Jalen Johnson is just very versatile. He's almost like Ben Simmons-esque, and I know that may not be the best comparison given how Ben Simmons' career has gone the last 3-4 seasons, but he is a really good player. Jalen Johnson, let's take a look at his stats and his bio here. And as you see there, he's listed at 6'9". He's 21 years old, so very young player still, 220 pounds. And in his first few seasons, he definitely showed his Ben Simmons-esque point production, 2.4 points in his first season, 5.6 points. But in his third season, looks like he's finally breaking out, averaging 14.1 points, 7.3 rebounds, 2.4 assists. But that's not it. We were talking about Ben Simmons, but one thing Jalen Johnson does that Ben Simmons does not is shoot the three-point ball really well. Only 2.7 attempts per game, but still shooting the three-point ball at a very exceptional rate at 42.5%. And even his free throws are very respectable at 75.8%. This is a player that's constantly been getting better. And like I said, it just gives you a lot, right, in terms of defense as well. And we saw what the Raptors did against the Phoenix Suns last night against, some of the best players offensively anyways. And, Kevin Durant, you got Devin Booker that were, doing trying their best to score, but they really got shut down by the Raptors defenders. So I don't think you can necessarily have enough of these. Again, like I said, you could probably play Jalen Johnson at the 3 and then have OG Anunoby guarding some of the 2s. And if, you're playing the Cleveland Cavaliers, you could use them to shut down someone like a Donovan Mitchell. But let's move on to player number 2 here. This is someone I really, really find intriguing, and I'll explain why in just a moment here. And this player is no other than Bogdan Bogdanovic. Now, you're probably thinking there are a lot more attractive pieces. Why would the Raptors want him? Well, let's take a look at his statistics, and everything becomes a lot more clear when you take a look at his stats here. You'll notice he's averaging 15.9 points this season. And even throughout his career, he has constantly hit around that same mark. But the major thing here is that he is a high-volume three-point shooter, and he also hits them at a really nice clip. 8.1 attempts from the three-point line this season. He's hitting them at a 39.1% rate, and this is not a fluke. You look at the previous seasons, he did the same thing. And for a team that not only needs floor spacing, but is also not a very good free throw shooting team, he hits his free throws exceptionally well. He does a few other things as well, like I wouldn't say a great rebounder. He's a decent rebounder, averaging, 3.2 rebounds. He's a decent passer as well, 2.4 assists, giving you 1.4 steals, which isn't too bad. Now, I know people are going to be concerned about his age, as he is 31 years old. He's listed at about 6'5". But the thing with this is not only can you use someone like Bogdan in your lineup to floor space and have him play the shooting guard position, this is also someone, if you wanted, you could flip him for a heavily protected first round pick or maybe a couple of second round picks as well. So this is someone you acquire in a trade and then you can move off of him, whether that's now or in the future, and acquire more assets in return. So the NBA is always going to need guys that are, shooting guard, small forward that can hit their 3-point shots really well. And contenders are going to be desperate for players like this. So they may just give up a lottery protected first round pick as well. So again, this is a player, if you want, you can keep on your roster, use him for a season, maybe move him in the offseason, or maybe just keep him while his contract runs out, or just to decide, he's going to be a player that you can flip. So I think when making trades, this is one of the more important factors that goes unnoticed. And a lot of NBA teams are doing this around the league, where even look at the Portland Trail Blazers, right? They didn't need Drew Holiday, but you acquired Drew Holiday because you're going to be able to trade him and you're going to get more future assets as well. So again, I like Bogdan for that reason. He's always been a very nice player, although he's a little bit injury prone. That's always been the concern, but he could be someone the Raptors could definitely use. Now let's move on to the third player here, and this is where it gets a little bit tricky about who the Raptors should want. So far we've talked about Jalen Johnson, Bogdan Bogdanovic. Now, ideally, you want another young player. So again, we're looking at someone like a Kobe Buffkin or AJ Griffin. The fact that Atlanta Hawks are very, very unlikely to give up both of these is, let's be honest, that's very realistic. Obviously, as a Raptors fan, you would definitely want both of them, but it's not realistic to be asking for both of them, Jalen Johnson and Bogdan Bogdanovic as well. So I'm going to go with a little bit of a controversy, if you wanted, between Kobe Buffkin and AJ Griffin. I think I'm taking AJ Griffin. As you see here, he's still a very young player, 20 years old, listed at 6'6", 222 pounds, and he has had a rocky start to his second season in the NBA. Last season, in his rookie season, he had 8.9 points, shot the free throws exceptionally well, and three-point shot was amazing. 3.6 attempts per game, 39% from the three-point line. This is someone that the Raptors could definitely use because of his ability to shot create. Again, I know his statistics would normally look a lot better if he was on a team like the Wizards, the Detroit Pistons as well, or even the Charlotte Hornets, right? He's got that potential there, and I think he's a bucket getter, which is something the Raptors definitely need. Now, in terms of Kobe Buffkin, I know people are going to say, well, you should target Kobe Buffkin instead. Look, I'm not going to lie here. I did do some research on it, but just given, you look at his stats in the preseason, you look at his stats in the summer league, and I'm not saying those stats are going to define his NBA career. He hasn't even played really in the NBA except for 2 games, I believe. So again, that's a huge gamble. Whenever you're trading for rookie players that haven't really played in the NBA, you definitely want someone that has kind of shown you what he's capable of at the NBA levels. And for me, personally speaking, that's AJ Griffin. So again, these are the 3 players I like in a return, but I want to quickly talk about salary situation as well, because that is big if you're going to trade for Pascal Siakam. So let's take a look at their salary cap situation for the Atlanta Hawks here. Now, Pascal Siakam is making about $37 million. So Bogdan Bogdanovic, Jalen Johnson, AJ Griffin isn't necessarily going to fill the entire salary. So you would have to include someone like a Patty Mills in there, which together with those 4 players makes about $32 million, and this actually saves you about $5.6 million in salary cap as well. Now, we obviously don't have room for every one of those players. I think you probably waive a player, maybe trade Patty Mills to a contender for a second-round pick or so. You can move him as well. So I think Patty Mills is someone you definitely want. I know people are going to mention someone like a DeAndre Hunter. Again, just speaking from an asset point of view, I think Bogdan is movable a lot more easily than DeAndre Hunter. And that is not something against DeAndre Hunter. I think he's a solid role player. I think he's a good player you should definitely look to target. But I just think if you're going to, move in a certain direction, particularly rebuild, I think it makes more sense to acquire someone like Bogdan. You can get assets for him back. And then I know people are going to think of someone like Onyeka Okongwu, guys. I'm going to be very, very truthful here. The Atlanta Hawks are not moving him for a simple reason. Clint Capella is probably going to be moved sooner rather than later, and Onyeka is their future center as well. So again, and like pretty much what I've stated before, although, you could make that argument with Jalen Johnson, Onyeka you're adding a really, really good defensive power forward / center. But really, do the Raptors really want that again? He's not really great at scoring. So that's another issue with the Raptors. You're pretty much acquiring another player who's not a great scorer, but a great defensive player. So again, I think that's the big issue for me with Onyeka. And like I said, I don't see the Atlanta Hawks giving him up. So that is the 3 players. Again, I'm not stating I'm a huge Pascal fan. I'm not stating those are the best deals you're going to get from other teams as well, or out of any team. But just considering the rumors, I think those 3 particular players that I would want in return for Pascal Siakam. So I want to hear your thoughts on this. What are your thoughts? Do you think that's a good return for Pascal? Would you rather go with Kobe Buffkin over someone like AJ Griffin? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. And as always, I do have a trivia question for you today. And the trivia question for today is, where do the Raptors rank in the NBA in points per game? Is it A, 19th? Is it B, 24th? Is it C, 22nd? Or is it D, 26th? So whoever answers this trivia question correctly first in the comment section gets a shout out in my next video. So that will be it for today's video, guys. Thank you so much for your support. As always, if you want to follow me on Twitter, it's in my bio. You can do that as well. If you want to comment below, that'd be awesome as well. Let me know your thoughts down below. And thank you once again for watching. And I hope you guys have yourselves a great day.